The way Matt Frank did one really interesting thing with this last potential juror, now 12th juror. What he said about Daunte Wright was he referred to him as the victim. Now think about that for a second. You think that was purposeful? Of course it was. That's part of the theme that we're starting to see. It's being driven in by both sides. Sometimes it's just a word, sometimes it's very light. But the purpose is to make sure when these jurors sit down and they start openings, and that might be tomorrow, they're going to be predisposed to look for things a certain way. That's what Matt Frank just did.
And let me ask you, in Minnesota, because we just experienced in another trial, they weren't allowed in Rittenhouse to call them a victim. And so in Minnesota, is the prosecution allowed to refer to Daunte Wright as a victim in your experience?
Well, they shouldn't. And in fact, my expectation, and I'm trying to recall during the vast pre-trial issues, that would have been one of the objections I would have had, which was the reference to Daunte Wright as a victim, because that's fundamental to this issue. From the defense perspective, Daunte Wright was in a place that because of his behavior, this happened. And you can go through the process of why they think that. But ultimately, that's the question. And in fact, if you look at the Rittenhouse case, the reason they said that very same thing, that you couldn't call them victims, was because it was a fundamental question that was being determined by the jury, just like here.
Right, absolutely. Jack, I cannot thank you enough, as always, for coming on and sharing all your expertise with us here on Court TV.
Always happy to be with you. You know that.
Thank you. All right.